This is the loin. This was the side towards the head over here. So I'm going to show you how we separate the ribs from the pork chops. You can also do bone-in chops. Bone-in chops would require a knife, at least a good knife and a cleaver, which I don't have. If I was doing bone-in chops, I would use a meat bandsaw that I have to do those, but we're not going to do those. If you don't have those tools, you can do boneless chops, which I'm going to show you how to do.
All right. Well, if you were to do bone-in chops, what would you do?
At that point, you're kind of reliant on just the vertebrae are going to determine how thick your chops are. So you would just go in between each vertebrae, and you would chop through the bone and the bone section that you would need to with the cleaver, and then after you were done, you would take your cleaver and cut the back portion of this backbone off of the rib bone.
But we're gonna take the ribs off because we want baby back ribs.
So because we are going to be just using all of our chop and loin meat here for ground meat on this particular piece, I'm probably going to leave a little bit more meat on the ribs than you might want to if you're actually going to use the loin meat for pork chops. This has a nice seam to it here.
Now, instead of making boneless pork chops too, you could just leave that whole, or in our case, ground meat. You could just leave that whole bottom one as a big, like a loin roast, right? Is that what you did yesterday with that one?
Yeah. We did a loin roast out of this loin on another one. I mean, we had it about 8 inches long. I think it was about a 3-pound loin roast.
That's dinner tonight. Maple glazed with the maple syrup we made last week. Kind of excited about it.
I mean, this probably isn't the best cutting. I can see I'm going right through cutting through the loin here quite a bit. But like I say, if I have extra meat on my rib, I'm not going to complain about that.
Me neither.
You know, and some of this will be broken down enough that you can get in between those membranes and peel it. If I was on the right side of the bone.
Somebody's not a happy camper.
So that's my boneless loin right here. Sorry. Now that's my boneless loin. I would recommend taking this layer of fat if you have it on there off, trimming quite a bit of this. This would be really good fat to be rendered down here. So you can just clean that all off. Like clean both layers off. Most of that will go to fat to be rendered down. Whatever has meat in it will go towards the sausage.
I would think that if you were going to do like a loin roast or loin chops, you would want to leave a little bit more fat on it than you are. Because
that's what I would think, but
it's lean
nobody
meat.
else did that I watched.
Really?
Yeah, if you watch the gentleman we watched, he trimmed probably more off than I did.
Really?
Yeah, he had like almost none.
Huh.
Which I thought was, yeah, so, like I say, we're gonna do.
I thought loins were.
I'm gonna show you chops of how
out.
we would do a chop with something like this. Start by squaring this up, and then just however thick you want a pork chop, 3/4 of an inch, less, inch, more, whatever.